Hi everybody, this is Alan Fine and I'm here with Stefan Lechner, who's the Director of Sales of the Dilly. The Dilly is as in Piccadilly, and it's a hotel that we've profiled many times on Insider Travel Report, but now we're here at Proud Experiences in Brooklyn, New York, and we're going to talk about its relationship to the community here on Insider Travel Report. Stefan, thank you for talking to us.
Thanks for having me, Alan, and especially such a glorious setting here in Brooklyn.
I know. So, the Dilly wasn't always called the Dilly. Let's do a little bit of history. I know that I think it was built in 1908.
Yeah.
And then you got to fill in the blanks after that.
You're absolutely right. So we are quite an iconic historical building, literally on Piccadilly. So location-wise, we are like a stone throw away from Piccadilly Circus. But you rightly say that, and it wasn't always called the Dilly. It used to be part actually of a quite large chain, and it used to be prior from us rebranding in 2020, the Le Méridien.
Right.
So it was part of Marriott, and prior to that, it was actually part of Starwood, and it has a very long history. The initial build was very much like for the high society of the British. So especially you have Buckingham Palace within a stone throw, you have the Pall Mall, you do have St. James's Park, so it's very historical and it has so many different assets to it. So I think, it's a location destination. If we talk about central London, even though we're classed as the West End, I mean, this is like the epitome of being in central London, and you can't go anywhere else apart from there. The hotel has been gone through a lot of changes lately. So
before we talk about the renovation, I just want to mention, so the name was Le Méridien.
Yes.
Piccadilly,
yeah.
And now the name is really about the sensibility of the hotel, isn't it? The Dilly. You had to think about it. How did you come up with that name?
There are quite a few different ways to protect this. The thing is, we are London and we pride ourselves to be part of London. So we call all of our associates or employees Dilly locals, even though everyone comes from an international, multinational background. The thing what we have in common is London, and actually really engage with London and being able to give the London way of living to everyone. So in terms of the Dilly, we've just been a bit cheek and tongue, and obviously taking it out of the Piccadilly, and it's just like a different way of operating, and it's taken the market by quite a storm, because obviously the Dilly is such a great name to be.
It's a great name. So, which came first, the renovation of the Dilly, or the name? In other words, does the name match the renovation, or does the renovation match the name?
Thank you. It's a very good question. It's a mixture between it, because we came up with the brand and what the Dilly represents, and the Dilly represents London. So all of our working partners, associates are actually local businesses. So you really harvest the London lifestyle and the London look. So some of our rooms are very blue and red, London Underground tube logo.
Got it. So it reflects that.
Absolutely. So you also have, with the Welcome Inn, you have a very much like of a London quintessential, but more up to beat local neighborhood.
But you want to talk about how many rooms and room types and all that?
So the hotel itself compromises over 10 floors. So we do have 283 bedrooms. We do have quite a broad selection from our Dilly Classic, which is our entry level. We have a lot of family rooms, and also we do host 28 suites across our spaces. We currently feature some great outlets. So we have Mothers of Mayfair on our ground floor in the Oak Lounge, which is the old high society ballroom. So it has oak wooden paneling. It's absolutely gorgeous, and Mothers of Mayfair specializes within high-end Indian cuisine. You have the Terrace restaurant, where we have our all-day breakfast, lunch and dinner. You also have Peter Rabbit afternoon tea. So we have the official trademark Peter Rabbit afternoon tea, where we work in association with Beatrix Potter. We're celebrating 125th year anniversary this summer, so there's going to be a lot of engagement and a lot of buzz about it. And then we also just recently opened downstairs the Dilly, which is our piano bar. So You come in on a Wednesday evening till Sunday, 5:30 till 2 in the morning. So it's perfect for pre-theatre. After theatre, you have live piano music.
Right.
And all of our cocktails, again, are specialised to London. All of our syrups and products, again, within London. So the London theme is for us one of the biggest aesthetics of the hotel. Bearing in mind, it's a huge hotel. We have an incredible health spa, and people don't underestimate or don't know it. You know, being in central London, we probably have one of the biggest indoor swimming pools with a massive gym facilities.
I've seen it.
We do have 2 squash courts, an indoor golf simulator, and an official dance studio. So if any one of you have ever watched Come Dance With Me or Dancing with the Stars in the UK, they actually do the filming and the training with us. So it's quite an old, ecstatic room.
Well, thank you for that tour.
My pleasure.
Let's now get to the subject at hand. Now, one of my questions is chronologically, when the first proud experience happened in London in 2018, what was the name of the hotel then, and was it apart?
Back then, it was still the LA Meridian, and no is the answer. One of our key DNAs in the Dilly is LBGTQ+, also families and pets. So we really are incorporating and everyone's living. Being an inclusive and diverse employer for us is very key to obviously represent. On top of that, I'm not entirely sure if you know, the Dilly is actually the official hotel partner for London Pride 50-year anniversary. So we are actually, we are actually celebrating and working with them in partnership over 12 months, having loads of activations going on supporting the external traveller, but also internally our own Dilly locals or workforce to be able to support any requirements and offering a safe environment.
So for many hotels, they have to pivot and they have to mean it, but you started that way.
Absolutely. If we want to be the UK's #1 LBGT+ employer, but also we are promoting a safe and inclusive zone. So regardless on your sex, your gender, your background, we want to be able to offer anyone who comes to our door a very safe environment. Right. In central London.
Well, that's just the definition of a hotel. Yeah. We shouldn't even need to say anything more.
I know, but unfortunately it's not always the case, is it?
What are the challenges to making this statement and letting the world know that the hotel is as open as it is? What are the challenges to marketing the Dilly so it's clear what it's intending?
I think there's still quite a preconception about traveling and all an established way of living and luxury and staying away. And I think we're really trying to move away from that particular standpoint. You know, as I said, we are an inclusive and diverse, safe space. So the challenge is literally to get this across on all of the platforms, but also changing the demographics of our travellers. But London is such an inclusive and diverse place, so you have so many different cultures, so many different nationalities coming in. I think it's more of using the right avenues and partnering up with the right companies and allies to actually getting our statement across that we are London Pride's partner, that we are inclusive. We offer so many different training courses to our own Dilly locals again, so they can, really work and deal with situations and offering obviously a diverse and inclusive space.
Let's talk a little bit more about the training.
Sure.
You're empowering your employees, and that helps because they're driving the change and keeping it. But change there will be, and the community keeps changing and lifestyles keep changing. How do you keep up and how do you train?
Being the partner of Pride in London, we have access to incredible trainers from Pride London itself. They are all volunteers, they all work across different segments, different industries, and we work this relationship in partnership really to its core. So we actually getting exposed to particular inside trainers who actually help us and helping us right now setting up those training sessions, accredited and non-accredited as well.
So as aware as we all try to be, it's usually not a matter of discrimination. It's just ignorance, and so we're always trying to be sensitive and trying not to be ignorant. So that, I guess, that's what the training is to be aware of every situation and just be awake and communicate.
As well, what it does, it literally gives all of the Dilly locals a total tool and fallback if there's a situation which may be uncomfortable for certain people who haven't been exposed, because as you can imagine, not every day is the same day. I mean, it's hotel life. Everything happens in a very, very great pace. But it literally enables all of the employees to be vigilant, be attentive, understand, if you have a same-sex couple checking in with a child, you don't want to be prejudiced or want to be discriminating on what is happening. So they are getting trained to its core, but also they are getting trained to understand.
What I want to talk about is the travel advisor who knows their client. Mm-hmm. Isn't it imperative for them to express who they are to you so you can handshake and get the baton passed you and properly care for the guests?
Yes, it is, especially if you want to make a stay even more memorable and personalised. And hospitality for me personally, and I'm speaking now personally of my own terms, is I'm very passionate about it, because for me, I want to be able to give someone an experience, give someone which, I don't know, it gives me even goosebumps right now, right? Yeah. I want to give someone so memorable to someone in a good way. And if a travel advisor knows those inside informations, please share them with us, because then we can really, really give that experience to the guest, the traveler, in a very safe environment.
Because my final question is usually, what advice do you have to give to our over 100,000 travel advisors? I think that's one. Do you have any others?
Be open-minded and listen and pay attention to any of your bookers and guests, because you know what, even the smallest piece of information will make a huge difference, especially with giving someone a really good memory.
I love how enthused you are about giving someone a good memory.
Listen, I see from this perspective, when I travel, I want to have a good time. I want to go on an adventure, and I want to, when I get old, think about this adventure. It's like, wow, this was amazing. I'll give you a very good example. I just came back from Bolivia and Colombia, and I did the whole Salt Flats. This will stay in my head forever. And we worked with an amazing travel advisor who arranged the entire 2.5 weeks travel. And obviously, those countries are quite difficult countries to travel, especially if you go into some parts of Bolivia, very remote. But you know what? We've been advised incredibly. I have this amazing memory. And
the advisor must have planned ahead for you.
Oh, absolutely. And having a private tour to Lake Titicaca, who can do that? Not everyone, but it's amazing. So I want to recreate and replicate the same thing for any guest coming to the Dilly and having a really good moment of enjoying them, being in central London, being in a safe space, and being accepted for who they are.
Stefan, you are a really good representative of the Dilly, and I'm glad I got to meet you.
Thank you so much for having me, Alan. I really appreciate any time. Thank you. And thank you.
And this is Alan Fine for Insider Travel Report.